I'm very struck by how the opposition is selling themselves as people who are fighting for the little guy, when their candidate is someone who has taken money from people in communities like this one, from people like my parents, from people who've been told by, the big guys that real estate investing is great, and then he takes their money and bankrupts his company, but manages to pay himself $40 million in the interim. And then we find out he doesn't pay any taxes while he criticizes everybody for not paying enough. And he wants to take minimum wage away from people completely. He just doesn't think we need a minimum wage. And I'm like, dude, what do you know about what wages people need? I'm flabbergasted. I'm flabbergasted how they're selling themselves as the defenders of the everyman when there's clearly only one candidate who wants to protect the everyman, who's been doing it her whole life. Hillary Clinton got into politics because she realized that kids in her home state of Arkansas who lived in rural communities, when there was ever an accident, were very often dying in ambulances before they could get to a hospital. And she said, well, we've got to raise the money to get a helicopter for the hospital then. And she did it. And as a young woman, she realized her dedication and her voice could impact the most disenfranchised members of her community. And she's been trying to serve all of us ever since. And for me, it's all record versus bluster. Donald can bluster about what he thinks, but he wants to cut our school funding. He wants to decimate our economy. He doesn't think we need environmental protections, and I know that anybody in a farming community knows very differently. It's a scary time, but knowing what a good candidate we have on the other side, and seeing how many of you have come out here on a Sunday when you could be having a barbecue with your families, or be at church, or be at home, it means a lot to me because I see so much civic engagement. And it's the same reason that I got on a plane and wanted to come out here and speak at colleges. The colleges I've been to this weekend, all of these young people who are so fired up to do the right thing, inspire me. They make me feel like we're all gonna be okay, and you guys make me feel like we're all gonna be okay. And I really do think, to everyone's points, we've got 30 days. And I know that it's going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight because that's the kind of fight they want, but I also know we have the most prepared and experienced candidate to ever run. And I'm really glad in this election she's a woman so she can stand up to that misogynist who thinks he has the right to touch our bodies uninvited. And not only can she beat him on his terrible policies and his desire to fleece the American people while he makes himself even richer. He gives himself a $4 billion tax cut. Can't imagine what that must be like. Probably wants to gild the White House in gold. Not happening, bro. She will beat him, and she will beat him as a woman, and it'll make the victory twice as sweet. And I'm just so excited that there are so many people out here who know that these swing states matter. And that all of us, all the people who show up and do the work, every conversation we have, to Secretary Vilsack's point, every time we can actually talk to people about the policy versus the rumors, about the plans versus the claims that are not only illogical but fiscally impossible that he's making, we can get there. We can get through to people. We can remind them that there's one and only one candidate who wants to protect them, and that we've got to make sure she gets into office so that we all can continue to live in the America that we know is already great. We don't need some guy who's so out of touch that he lambasts our veterans and claims that people who've witnessed war and have a struggle with PTSD are weak. I'm like, weren't you a draft dodger, sir? I don't think you know how to speak on the issue. And he just keeps burying himself, but it doesn't matter because we've got to keep fighting. We cannot let him denigrate women. We cannot let him denigrate our workers. We cannot let him denigrate our servicemen and women. Nobody's got time for that in this already great America. So thank you for coming out on a Sunday. Thank you for committing. Every phone call you make matters. Every conversation you have matters. Every time you can show people fact versus fiction, it matters, because this election will come down to each and every vote. And I so thank you for being willing to fight for that. And please just keep it up. I know the people in these communities, and I know that we're strong. We can do anything for 30 days. We can certainly make phone calls and talk about why an incredible lady who cares about us is incredible. So thank you guys so much. I hope to be back in Iowa very soon, and appreciate you all.